U.S. News, Paul Bedard, a great reporter, he writes, 2 new EPA pollution regs will slam the coal industry so hard that hundreds of thousands of jobs will be lost, and electric rates will skyrocket 11 to 23% or more, according to a new study based on government data. Now, how much longer are some of you folks, not most of you, but you know who you are, going to suspend your ability to reason and just say this is inherited, this isn't intentional, everybody's out to get your hero, Obama, when in fact these are intentional, they're done with forethought, and it's part of an ideology. And by the way, while I'm at it, where are we going to get our electricity from? Where are we going to get our gas and oil from if this keeps up? How are we going to live? How are we going to produce if this keeps up? What exactly is the plan with this president and his minions when they're choking off energy production of all kinds, in all places? Overall, the rules aimed at making the air clearer could cost the coal-fired power plant industry I'm choked up over this. $180 billion. Many of these severe impacts would hit families living in states already facing serious economic challenges, said Steve Miller, president of the American Coalition for Clean Coal Electricity. Because of these impacts, EPA should make major changes to the proposed regulations before they're finalized, he said. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, the EPA says over time they're actually going to save $290 billion in annual health and welfare benefits. Actually, by 2014. Now, do you believe that for 2 seconds? No, of course you don't. That's just bullcrap. They pull these numbers out of their you-know-what, out of their Anthony Wieners, and they just throw them around. It's like Obama. I created over 2 million jobs. Now, he doesn't say saved anymore. I saved and created. No, I created. When in fact we have a net loss of over 1.2 million jobs since he's been president. But there's an intentional desire now to put the coal industry out of business, just as there's an intentional desire to cripple our oil industry. Not Brazil's, not China's, ours. How many more industries are we going to destroy? We're destroying the healthcare industry, the coal industry, the oil industry, and all those relate to a number of other things. Food, transportation. They drive up the cost of everything. So maybe let's keep a line open for the libs, as we usually do, Mr. Producer and Mr. Call Screener, and I would like to hear a defender of Obama and his administration to explain to us how they expect us to get electricity, how they expect us to get natural gas, how they expect us to get oil, and to run the engine of this economy. And while we're at it, maybe you can explain to me how this helps the vast majority of the quote-unquote working people and quote-unquote middle class. I thought you guys were at war with the rich, the millionaires and the billionaires. Well, when you drive up the cost of electricity, it affects people who are having a tough time making ends meet. It affects the unemployed. It affects people who are losing their homes. It affects tens of millions of Americans. But they care about the coal miners, the ones who are going to put out of work, you know. They care about those guys on the oil rigs and gals who are going to put them out of work too. How about the truckers? How about the farmers? Now, I want to give some friendly advice. I did this a little bit the other day, but I thought I wasn't as fulsome as I should be in my campaign to help Democrats. You Democrats on Capitol Hill, a little friendly advice I started to give you last week. You need to run from this president. You need to get as far away from him as possible.